Hey guys, it's Yara
and Mallory,
and today we're going to talk to you about geothermal energy. Can you tell us what that is, Mallory?
Of course, follow me. Geothermal energy is heat energy that comes from the natural radioactive decay of elements deep within Earth.
Does this mean that when radioactive materials begin to break down, they release heat, which in turn we are able to extract and use for electricity and heat purposes?
You're exactly correct. Okay. Hey Yara, did you know that there are ways we use to produce heat and electrical power using geothermal energy?
Really? What are they?
Yeah, there's 3 different cycles we use in order to generate electrical power. Can you guess them?
Could they be the dry steam, flash steam, and binary cycle?
Good job, Yara, but don't forget about the heat pumps.
Oh, the heat pumps. So how do we use these cycles?
I'm glad you asked. So the 3 cycles, the binary, dry steam, and flash steam, those are all used on a commercial scale, while you have the heat pumps that are used at home.
Wow. So this is the dry steam cycle, and it's the least complicated way of extracting geothermal energy on a commercial scale. And the way it works is as hot water under high pressure rises towards the surface, it turns into steam. And to do this, pipes are usually sunk into the geothermal layer to collect the steam more effectively. The steam then passes through a turbine, and during this process, part of the thermal energy is given up. The turbine's power is normally used to generate electricity.
The second process is flash steam. The flash steam process is used when there is an absence of a sufficient supply of high-temperature dry steam. This process takes advantage of the fact that the boiling point of water decreases as the pressure is lowered. For the flash steam process, hot geothermal water is sprayed into a low-pressure tank where it immediately flashes into steam. The flash steam is then used to turn a turbine. The flash steam method requires very hot geothermal water in order to generate power efficiently. Nevertheless, some huge reservoirs of geothermally warmed water that exist on Earth are not compatible with the flash steam process.
The last process done on a commercial scale is the binary cycle. The binary cycle system can extract useful energy from the lower temperature geothermal sources. The binary system uses 2 distinct fluids. Hot geothermal water is pulled from the ground and passed through a device called a heat exchanger, where part of the heat from the water is absorbed by a second fluid. This second fluid, isobutane, possesses a lower boiling point than water. As the secondary fluid is warmed, it changes to a vapor and it drives a turbine. The water and secondary fluid never physically interact. Instead, only heat from the water is passed to the second fluid that has a lower boiling point. The geothermal water is normally returned to the ground, forming a closed system that does not allow noxious vapors to escape into the atmosphere.
The way geothermal energy is used in the house is by heat pumps. A typical system includes flexible tubing buried in the ground through which a liquid flows. The heat pump produces a temperature gradient. The hot output warms the house, while the cold output is absorbed by the fluid circulating in the underground tubing. The warmth of the earth heats the fluid, which then in turn returns to the heat pump. This process is very efficient because heat is extracted from the ground and shuttled to the home at a higher temperature via the heat pump. So, after everything we've learned, what are the negative impacts?
Well, the negative impacts include the hazardous steam and gases that get released in the process. Also, there's a potential for water depletion in order to sustain the requirements needed to operate a geothermal energy heat pump.
Wow, thanks, Yara. What about economic setbacks?
Well, geothermal energy heat pumps are very expensive, and the upfront cost may cost as much as $20,000. This may stall the mass implementation because there may not be sufficient funds available throughout the country to install these.
What does geothermal energy require?
It requires the installation of and use of large equipment and systems such as turbines and generators.
Are there any positive side effects?
Of course. The positive side of geothermal energy is that if the world transfers to this energy source, then we will be less reliant on pollution-causing agents such as fossil fuels.
Wow, thanks for teaching me about geothermal energy, Yara. I learned a lot.
Good!
Up here, Yara!
Oh, sorry. You said get the angles. Action. You can stay up there.
Hey, no.